In the latest round of entertainment news, the ghost of Harvey Weinstein is back and continues to haunt our fabled franchise. What does this mean and how will it affect the future of Scream? Keep watching to find out. Hello my ghost face fiends, Zach Cherry here. Guys, I started this channel because I'm a huge horror geek, and if you're like me, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the little bell thingy too, so you and I can become YouTube official. Just for shits and gigs, give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section down below, how badly do you want to see Scream 5 get made? Seriously, no more holdups. So it looks like Spyglass Media Group has landed themselves in some hot water recently. The company, which currently owns the rights to the Scream franchise, is being protested by the Harvey Weinstein Victims Advocacy Group for not producing any sort of compensation towards a victim's fund. The acquisition of the Weinstein Company, which cost about $289 million, included a condition that a victim's fund for those making claims against Harvey Weinstein would be established and infused with $30 to $50 million in liquid assets. This agreement was part of the sale, and as of 1 year now, no victim's fund has been established. The condition that Spyglass would contribute significant assets to the fund was one of the most important aspects of the takeover of the Weinstein Company, as there were concerns in government and from sexual assault victims support groups that any buyout would allow other Hollywood producers to profit off of Harvey Weinstein's exploitations without the victims receiving any type of compensation or rehabilitative resources in return. There's still a lot of uncertainty over how much Harvey Weinstein will need to pay in restitutions, and if he files for bankruptcy, that will further complicate the matter, and it could be years before any of the victims see any money. So this fund, which was sanctioned by the government as a caveat of part of the Weinstein Company's bankruptcy sale, was supposed to be a way for victims to start receiving the money that they're entitled to during the lengthy interim before the trial and conviction dates, but Spyglass has not kept up with their end of the bargain. I admit this is a lot of legal jargon to me, and I don't know exactly what this means for Spyglass in terms of a specific deadline they had, and what sort of penalties they could be looking at for not adhering to their contract. But I do know whether they're in the right or not, this is not a good look for them. It's all pretty shystery if you ask me, especially considering that they haven't released an official statement yet about the protests or the money that they owe. But the biggest question mark I have, and this pertains to the Scream franchise and all of the other projects on Spyglass's roster, is what could all their money be tied up in that they're not making any contributions? We do know that Spyglass CEO Gary Barber was given a $260 million settlement after being released from his contract at MGM in 2018, and since Lantern Entertainment is the majority shareholder of the Weinstein Company's assets, he would still have a large sum of money left over after the partnership deal. He was even quoted as saying, "We're going to be very opportunistic, we're well funded, and we're going to be looking at every available asset that we see as being accretive. I've had a lot of experience in building companies." So obviously Scream is one of these assets, and according to Gary Barber, he's funneling a lot of money into getting this series going again. So if we're being led to believe that their money is currently tied up, it is very likely that the development of Scream 5 is one of the reasons for this, which means we can probably ascertain that they're a lot further ahead than where we thought they were, which could already include having a script and casting being underway, especially if you consider the rumors about the big three, as we like to call them. Nev, David, Courtney, all being in negotiations to return, contrary to what they've been telling the media and fans of the franchise. But to me, this seems like a double-edged sword, because on one hand, it's good to know that they're hard at work chipping away on this sequel, but on the other hand, they're currently profiting off of Weinstein's exploits. And if that doesn't leave a bad taste in your mouth, consider how the rest of Hollywood is going to react to this news. Maybe certain people who are already involved or potentially could be involved in the future wouldn't want to be associated with Spyglass if this is how they're conducting themselves. For instance, would Nev Campbell want to profit or allow Spyglass to profit from assets that legally belong to her peers and people she's worked with in the industry, such as Rose McGowan, who played Tatum in the original Scream? She's been one of the most outspoken victims of Harvey Weinstein and is also the one who's most affiliated with the Scream franchise. I wish I had more information on the terms of this agreement, but if they are seen to be in breach of their acquisition of the Weinstein Company, my question is, could the government just come in and shut them down? In which case, the rights to all the Weinstein properties, including the Scream franchise are once again held up in legal stuff, which could mean it will be years before we see any sort of Scream movie, as a new company would have to buy the franchise and go through all the same rigmarole, because that would mean we've already lost 1 year that could have brought us closer to getting a Scream 5. But of course, I'm just thinking of very extreme circumstances here, and I'm sure everything will be worked out, I hope. And also, if this has seemed like an oversight in this video, I'd just like to point out that I do firmly believe that the victims should be compensated first and foremost. $30 to $50 million does not seem like a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, and even if they had started making small contributions here and there, we wouldn't be in this current mess. Hopefully this will be resolved very soon, as this does affect the Scream franchise, but you can be sure that I'll be following the story as it unfolds, as well as all sorts of Scream 5 news. So if you're looking for your fix, this is the channel right here where you're gonna get it. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Zach Cherry, and I'll be right back.